All right. Welcome to the Broco Podcast, episode one. I'm excited. Also a little tired, so if I'm fumbling over my words or John's fumbling over his words, that is why. But excited to bring this to you. Honestly, we just wanted to start this podcast because we just had a lot of questions and noticed a lot of things out there in the world where guys are struggling to lead in a whole bunch of different areas. Not saying that we have all the answers because we definitely don't. Not saying we're experts in any way because we're definitely not. However, we have been put in a bunch of different situations. We come from different backgrounds. We've been given different leadership opportunities, and we just wanted to share that with you and grow with you and invite you guys in as we grow and learn together with the different guests that we're going to have on here. And it's just going to be an awesome time. I got my co-host, John Lester, with me. We have another co-host who is supposed to join us tonight, Mike McGrail, a Marine and firefighter. We scheduled this episode, and then he remembered that he had his 19th wedding anniversary to go to, so he selfishly chose that over us. But no. We love him. He'll be on here next week. But man, John, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, bro, real fast, or
Mm,
not? Take your time. Whatever floats your boat.
Man, I'm usually a man a few words in. I appreciate it, but no, man, like you said, we are just so stoked to be able to bring this podcast to you guys because leadership is important, and in particular for men, it is important for men in today's society to get up and lead. And we've just noticed and had a lot of people talk to us that, you know what, something like this is needed. So why not put together a podcast where we can talk about some really important issues in today's society and be able to tackle them? Honestly, like Ian said, we're not necessarily experts with PhDs in this field, but we are husbands, we are fathers, we are men of God. And we put
Yeah.
that at the core of who we are, and we are, striving to lead our families better every day. So that's why we're here.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yep. We are both very. This is going to be a Christian podcast, guys. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome to join in, chime in, everything like that. But we are men of faith to the core, so that is going to come up in our conversation. More than welcome to be a part of it. We're not here to preach at anyone or try to throw things at you, but it is going to come up in our conversation. And if you're okay with that, then we're okay with it, and we can have some conversations. It's going to be awesome. So what's John? What do you do for a living, man? John and I
Uh,
have known each other for 3 years, by the way, so this isn't the first time we're meeting. But
no,
tell
not
the
even a little.
people, tell the masses,
Tell the
tell the
masses.
masses what you do,
Oh,
bro.
oh my gosh. Yeah, so I am a health and physical educator by trade. I've been in the education system working with high school students in particular for the last, gosh, 13 years. It's been 13 years already. It's kind of nuts. Feels like just the other day I was getting out of college. But yeah, it's been 13 years working at a few different schools with a bunch of kids, helping to lead them because adolescence is a really, tough time for a lot of kids and trying to be that light for them, trying to be that source of help and influence. But recently life's taken a change. Life has recently taken a change where I feel God calling me out of education and not for any other reason other than it's God's calling, right? And
For sure,
so
yeah,
I've
man.
entered into this world of entrepreneurship and working on becoming a certified life and performance coach to help men lead. That's really where God has put a big calling on my heart, is to help men step up and lead in their workplace, in their homes, in their families, in their marriages, with their finances, and that's what we're going to do. So
Yeah,
we're making a
yeah.
big transition, and it's going to be awesome.
Dude, can't wait, bro. Can't wait. Watching you
No,
come this far already has been nothing short of a blessing, man. I'm just honored to be able to walk this with you. So, it
likewise.
has been, sorry. Yeah, dude, if I scratch my neck, my hair has never been this long in my life, and it's hitting my neck and like making it itchy. And so if I fidget a
Right
lot,
here,
I apologize. I got all
hey,
the hair
right
you
here.
don't have.
My daughter was cutting mine this morning. She's 6 years old. Just give her the attachment and say go.
That's awesome. That works. I love that they're willing to do that too, and you trust them. They're not gonna, hey man, just not knock it off. They don't care.
She's
It
only
don't
gouged
matter.
me once. It was fine.
Yeah, it's fine. The
Yeah.
blood replaces itself. It's good.
Hmm.
It's good. Oh man. As for myself, guys, my name is Ian Thurber. Gonna be co-hosting with my boys here. I've known John Lester for 3 years. We met in an online men's ministry, actually. and just got put together to do a challenge, a spiritual and physical challenge together. And we've just, with 5 other guys, we've just hit it off. We've done life every day since. Mike McGrail, I've known for about a year, Marine and firefighter brother. I'll let him introduce himself next week. But I'm very proud husband, father of two, a 9-year-old redhead, and our sweet little 5-year-old baby girl. So I got one of each and loving that. Been a firefighter paramedic for about 15 years, been able to serve some special operations teams that we can get into, play a role in help training our new rookies and probies that come in. And I've also been feeling called into more an entrepreneurship, more of like giving back. I need to do more to give back to people, especially after talking with John and talking with other people and noticing that there's a huge, I don't want to say the word disconnect, but there's a need for men to have a way to cut through all the noise of the world and cut through everything that's getting thrown at us on a daily basis through media, social media, interactions with people who, I mean, quite frankly, overall just kind of suck. I'm just going to be perfectly honest. It's not the same as it used to be. Everyone's high strung, stressed, kind of inward thinking, and um, eh, things that even maybe that I myself didn't even have growing up. I grew up without a dad, and so I didn't have that leadership there for me, and we just felt like this would be a good place. And so I'm really honored and excited to do this. So, uh, guys, welcome, episode 1 of the
It's gonna
Bro
be
Code
good. It's gonna be
podcast.
good. Here we
It's gonna
go.
be good. It's gonna be good. Oh man. So I guess we'll just jump right into it. We're gonna do a roundtable type thing. We're just gonna go, we got a few subtopics to go over, and we're just gonna let the conversation flow, man, and see what God does with this and where he takes it. It's gonna be great. Redefining traditional leadership in today's society. We're gonna kick it off with a pretty heavy topic because
We're not easing in.
traditional leadership, we're not easing it. We are jumping in.
No.
We're gonna hit all the hard topics. Nothing's off the table. Bring it on. So redefining traditional leadership in today's society. I think we should start off with that one, honestly, because that's a hard hitter, and that's kind of probably the foundation. I don't know if you would agree, but like the foundation of trying to figure out who, how to lead in the rest
Mhm.
of all other areas, maybe.
Mhm.
So, what are your thoughts on redefining traditional leadership? Like, what do you think it's changed over the years for better or for worse?
I think, yeah, I think it's definitely changed over the years. I mean, you think about just us as a country and, the way it was established back when the Constitution was established and some of the societal norms, and even just something as simple as gender roles, like what the man was supposed to do and how he's supposed to act and all these things. And I'm not saying we have to go back to constitutional age and all those kind of things, but you see this definite paradigm shift over, especially like I would say the last 100 years, right?
Hmm.
With, like you said, the rise in technology, the rise in social media. Honestly, our brains are seek out comfort. Okay, so our brains
Hmm.
are designed to help us stay safe. And I think
Right.
over the last particular 100 years, we have let our brains lead with that, essentially lead us in the sense that leadership has kind of taken a back seat. Right now we
Hmm.
lead by ease, we lead by comfort, and
Ooh,
I'm not sure that's the way leadership's designed to be. I don't think leadership's designed to
no.
be to lead by comfort, to lead by ease. I think leadership needs to be redefined,
uh,
right? Because leadership can be
yeah.
messy, leadership can be tough, it can be brutal, but
Yeah.
that's not what society tells us so much right now. So I don't know. Yeah, what do you think?
Uh, Dude, I think you hit the nail on the head. Comfort and ease seem to be just kind of the name of the game for our society in general. I mean, if you look at the ads that you get on TV, if you get when your phone listens to you and it pops up your ads on your phone, a lot of those are geared towards, hey, how to make your life easier, how to make your life, how to keep you from having to do more things. Hey, we got this AI that's going to take care of this. We got this new program that's going to,
Mm-hmm.
take care of that. Don't worry about having to place go to the grocery store anymore because we got Instacart. You can just sit on your sofa, order some food, your groceries, and it shows it back to your door. Not necessarily saying Instacart's bad or that that's a bad service. I've used it from time to time. We all have those
Well,
moments where it's like, you know what, I'm
absolutely.
not feeling it, you know, and it's, you
Yep.
just type it in. But it's all geared to comfort, dude. And I think you
Hmm.
hit the nail on the head. Leadership isn't about comfort. It's about being out in the front lines. It's about
Hmm.
doing the things that most people don't want to do, that you may not even want to do. You're doing the things that scares you to be able to grow past
Hmm.
where you currently are. And I can hear my daughter, so you guys can probably hear her too at some point. I apologize, but um, it's not comforting. You
Hmm.
were supposed to use that leadership to help like comfort others, right? Encourage each other, build each other up, whether that's in your work, your you know your spouse, your marriage, whatever it is. But it's supposed to be hard and challenging. And this society just, you nailed it, dude. Just quite frankly, does not preach get out of your comfort zone and grow yourself. It's, hey, sit right
No.
there. You're good where you're at. Don't try any harder than you already are. Let's give you all these things to make life easier.
That's right. That's right. And it doesn't want conflict either. Leadership nowadays is
Right.
like, do whatever you do, but just don't rock the boat. But I'm sorry,
Bro,
if you are a
yes.
leader,
Yeah.
you are going to have tough conversations. You are going to rock the boat. I think about, especially as
Yeah.
like men of faith, right? It's like we're called to share the gospel. We're called to go out and share the good news with everybody that we meet. But if we do lead in that way, it can be really uncomforting. It can draw conflict
Yeah.
to us, right? But does that mean
Yeah.
that we're just not supposed to do it? It's like, no, if we're going to be good leaders, we're going to do things that are right, even when it just plain sucks to do it, you know? That's just how
Yeah.
it is. And ultimately, the way we lead is going to have generational impact. I mean, honestly, the leadership
Yeah.
that we see today was given to us by leaders generation ago, 2 generations ago, and it's just gotten
Mm.
worse over time. It's like we got to redefine this and right the ship. Or guys, I'm telling you, we're in trouble. We are in trouble.
Yeah.
Our kids are in trouble.
Yeah. 100%. Leadership is all, I don't want to say all, but a lot of it has to do with the example you lead, right? And I'm gonna
Hmm.
throw my man John out there because he's here. This man gets up at 4:35 every morning to go run a 16K or whatever you're up to now, and it doesn't matter if it's -2 degrees or whatever. He does that, but I mean,
It's
he's
better
leading
that
by
way, man.
example. It's
It's
that
better that way.
consistency. It's no, it's not. No, it's
Yes, it
not.
is.
Don't
It's I
lie to
don't
me.
sweat as much. It's great. It's not. I don't sweat as much. It's great.
I've seen the pictures of your Santa beard after your run. That don't look fun to me.
It's just a preview of where it's going to be in like 10 years.
Hey, it looks good if you're looking at it from that point. It looks great. Uh, but that's it, dude. I think that's a perfect segue actually into our second point: challenges that we face in embracing leadership roles, and we can, you know, cut this down as much as we need to and dig, as deep into it
Hmm.
as we need to. But you're saying, on the topic of just society telling us to be comfortable, to stay comfortable, to not go crazy. Leadership is uncomfortable, which means you got to face certain challenges and about yourself or about the outside world. Like you call it, a men of faith. But a lot of people,
Hmm.
especially in today's society, you tell them you're a Christian, all of a sudden their attitude changes for whatever reason. All of a sudden they're already offended for whatever reason, and like you're already fighting an uphill battle, just based off of that a lot of times.
Hmm.
But that's the calling. That's being a leader, being like, hey, I love you the way God loves you, you know, and I'm going to lead by example and showing that love, no matter if it makes me uncomfortable or gets me outside my comfort zone. But
Hmm.
I think societally, is that a word? If it's
It
not,
just
I'm
is. It
I'm
is
pegging
now.
it. It is now 100%.
It is now.
It is
Mark it.
absolutely a word
Mark it
now.
right here.
Yes. It is societally has made it extremely difficult for men to even feel like they can step up and lead. I feel, and you can correct me if
Hmm.
I'm wrong, at work or in the ways of leading a home. And gonna try to be careful how I say this, but also, guys, if this podcast offends you for whatever reason, it's not the point, but we're more than welcome to talk about it. traditional marriage. A man is supposed to lead his home. We talk about faith.
Hmm.
Christ is the head of the family, and then the husband, then the wife, and they're supposed to work together. It's a team effort,
Hmm.
but the husband is responsible for how the family operates. He's responsible for, the dynamics of that family. And I feel like in traditional family values,
Hmm.
and even men stepping up to lead in like the workplaces, that, they get cut down. They're like, oh, well, woman's got to be equal, or that's not your place anymore. That's old school. That's old school. We can't. That's not your place. You can't do that because a woman's got to be able to do it too. I'm not saying there's not room for that or anything, but you hear that enough, you get beat down with that enough. People, guys are just gonna be like, okay, fine, fine, whatever. It's a lot easier for me to just be like, yeah, sure, step back, non-confrontational, I think is the word you used earlier.
Hmm.
But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I
What are your
think you hit that.
thoughts?
Yeah, I think you hit a lot of that right there on the head. And I think it comes down to now that society tells us, like, hey guys, you don't have to be the one that's always leading. You don't have to be the one that is that head of house. Guys see that as a way out. Unfortunately, they
Yeah,
see it as,
yeah,
man, if society's telling me that I don't have to lead, and my wife wants to, sure, go ahead. I don't have to. I'm going to take a
right,
passive approach.
right,
I'm just going to step back because
right,
that's what society's telling me to do, and that's a big problem in today's society because
yeah,
like you said, we're not trying to say that man is so much better than woman and this and that. We're not getting into that. But what we are saying is that men have taken a step back, and I think part of
right,
that's because society, they feel like society has told them, oh, you can go ahead, you know, um, but they need to understand that there is a role of a leader that they've been called into, especially if they are a husband, if they are a father, if they are leading a team in business, whatever it is. It's like if
yeah,
you are a leader and you need to step up to the plate here. You have a job. You can't
yeah,
just hand it off to someone else. Like, come on, like,
right,
man up, put on the big boy pants and get the work. Do the work. Do the work. My God,
yeah,
I hate when I see guys that are just totally passive with the leadership, whether they're letting their health go, whether they just, let the whole family run the house, basically just take the back seat. I'm like, what are you doing? What are
yeah.
you doing right now? Like, what example are you setting for your son who's going to be a father and a husband one day? You're not. I'm sorry. You're not.
Yeah, no,
Be a
it's
leader.
not.
Step up.
Yeah, lead by. I mean, by example from everything.
Yeah.
Every little thing you do is an opportunity, like you said, especially with the family, to lead by example. From
Hmm.
what you eat to how you act to how you spend your time to where you put your finances. How you
Right.
lead is important. Ah,
Right.
that is good. I like
Yep.
that.
Yep. And
We're
I know sometimes it might seem like we're calling out guys on this podcast, and honestly, we are.
we
I'm sorry. At
are
least I
we
am.
are
Ian might not be, but
100%.
I am. I am. I'm going to
Oh,
be
I
calling guys
will
out because,
100%.
and it's not even calling guys out so much as it's calling guys in. It's like I don't want guys to
Yeah,
think that we're calling them out. It's like we're actually calling in to better leadership, into better, fatherhood, better being a better husband, steward of your finances, whatever it is. It's like we're calling you in
yeah,
because we know what you are potential, that we know what kind of potential you have as men. We do.
100%,
We
hundred
do.
percent. Yeah,
And we want the
and,
best for you and your family.
and
We want to see your families thrive. We want to see you thrive. But that
yeah,
does mean sometimes we got to take a really inward, deep look at ourselves and figure out what are we doing and what can we be doing better. I know I try to do it every day. Is like, how can I be a better leader for my kids? How can I be a better leader for my bride? How can I do these things better?
yeah.
Sorry, you get me all jazzed up here. This is how we go.
I love it. Go. Go. Take off. Run. You're a runner. Friggin' run with it. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh my
I love it.
gosh.
That's perfect. No, that's perfect, dude. I love that. And holy cow, I wanted to say something to that because you were on fire and it just left my head. Just
It
gotta love when
happens.
that happens.
You gotta
But
love when that
no,
happens.
it's yeah, it's all tough love. And just to reiterate, we don't we're no experts in anything. We're here to grow and learn with you guys. We're just sharing our input, sharing our stories, sharing what we've seen. We'll get into kind of, where we've been leaders in the past, along the way. But guys, this
Mm,
is for you too.
yeah.
We want to learn from you too. At the end of each episode, we're going to ask for questions for the next episode. If and how to get in contact with us. Please do that. Let's open a dialogue. Let's talk. Um, Kind of create a own little community here just to bounce ideas off each other and
Yeah.
just to see because I already know that one topic's going to be um that's going to be contested is that leaders are leaders born or are they made? we've kind of already seen the little give and take there when we were kind of doing a little research for this podcast. But that's going to be an interesting topic to get into, uh, especially
I
to
got
hear
to
what
write
some of our
down.
guests have to think about that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I got it right here already, and I want to get into it, but I'm going to wait on that one a little bit.
Well, we'll touch it a little bit because let's go over some common myths about leadership for this first one, just to kind of set
Mhm.
it off and kind of end it. There's eight, seems to be eight really big common myths that I wrote down. Did a little bit of research beforehand. Um, I just want to hear your thoughts on it. I'm dropping this on you, but I want to hear your thoughts on it. So, myth number one that a lot of people tend to believe is that leadership is innate and is an inborn talent. Kind of like what we just talked about. A lot of people believe, or even are told incorrectly, that you have to be a born leader. You have to just have this God given ability that, to lead. And if you don't have it, and if you don't feel that way, then you're not a leader. And that's wrong. Would you agree?
100%. I 100% think
Yeah.
that's false because you can be born into the best circumstances in the world, dealt the best hand, and you know what? May not go that way, right? Leadership may not come as easy,
Yeah.
but I do believe that we all are born, or at least we have leadership qualities, and we have places where we
Yeah.
should be a leader, 100%. So yeah, I think it's 100% a myth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're all called to lead
Hmm.
as men. But
Hmm.
that's a different topic and different debate for a different episode. But we're all
Yep.
called to lead. That doesn't mean we're all naturally gifted with leadership abilities.
Right.
For me personally, I had to learn how to lead.
Hmm.
I was not. I was the beta male in the back following everybody, being like, yep, whatever y'all want. Sounds good. I'll do it. Like, keep
Yeah.
me out of the spotlight, keep me out of
Hmm.
the front of the room. I don't want any part of it. And it was a learning experience, a very uncomfortable, but a very much needed learning experience that I'm still going
Hmm.
through. So
Yeah. Well,
it's
you
definitely
mentioned
not
interesting.
something you're born with.
No, but you mentioned something interesting there that I think is another myth that, I mean, and granted, I didn't do the research like you did, so I might be hitting other ones on your list here. So this could be kind
Perfect.
of fun.
Yeah.
But you talked about the limelight, and you were not that guy that wanted the limelight. And I think that's a misconception people have a lot of time, is that leaders are people who seek the limelight. Well,
Mm,
I think that's a myth because there are different types of leaders. There's a mentor leader, there's a silent
yes.
leader, there is the one who lives on the front line. I
Yes.
mean, again, being men of faith, and
Yes.
I preached on this about a month ago. We think about the ultimate servant leader being Jesus Christ. He was always lifting others up ahead of himself. He was never putting the spotlight on himself. And I'm like,
Right.
that's true leadership. That's a piece of humility.
Yeah.
That's something, a good characteristic of leadership. And I'm like, so I think
That's
one
it.
misconception is that leaders are the people that are in the limelight. They're on the stage, they're on the platform, they're,
Yeah.
doing the thing. And it's like, sure, they might be a leader, but if they're not the leader, there's many ways to lead.
100%. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Leaders build up other leaders.
Hmm.
That's the mark of a true leader. Leaders want to see others do better than themselves, and they want to help
Exactly.
them get there. Yeah. No, I love it. You nailed it again. Again, you are on fire. I love it. I knew this
That's
was
what
gonna
happens
go
when
well.
well, I preached this morning. I don't know. Still got the Holy Spirit just running through my
You're
veins. I
still
don't know.
still feeding off of it.
It's been a day.
All right, let's go. Yeah, it has. Myth number two: leadership comes easily to a select few. Um, uh, I think it throws a lot of people off, myself included, back in the day, to see those people that are on the stage, that are in the limelight. Let's just keep that topic rolling and be like, man, that it just rolls off his tongue so easily. He's just up there. He's making the crowd laugh. He's working the crowd. He just talks to everybody. It's so natural. But we don't see what it is behind the scenes for him. We don't see that, they get off the stage a lot of the times and they're just like, I need like 20 minutes in a quiet room by myself. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Like, I need to decompress. That was like so nerve wracking.
Hmm.
That was just so, so overwhelming. I have like borderline anxiety from that. Like, just because maybe a leader who's in that limelight makes it look easy, doesn't mean it does come easy. Leadership, and we kind of talked on it a little earlier, and you can expand on that. Leadership really isn't supposed to come easy because it's supposed to change you and challenge you.
Precisely. Nailed it. Absolutely. People just don't understand sometimes, though, the work that goes in behind the back scenes and all the work that's put in to make it look easy sometimes, and they're like, oh man, they lead so well. It's like, well, first of all, they probably have a ton of experience and it
Yeah.
might just be some of their God-given gifts. But they might
Yeah.
have the gift of communication, whereas other people have the gifts of hospitality.
Right.
They're using their gifts and they're putting in the work, and that's just the fruit of it. It really is.
100%. 100%. What comes to mind is we were on a team call a while ago, like at the beginning of the year, I believe it is, and this guy named Phil was the keynote speaker, and he
Mm-hmm.
gets on there and he's energetic and he makes you just hang on every word, and he's just join me and feed off my energy, and this is awesome and everything's great. And then there was a point in his teaching that he was like, how hard it is for me to actually be here right now with this kind of energy. He was straight up. He said, this drains me. He said, I will get off this call and feel like I just ran a marathon. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
it is not easy for me to come with this energy, but I do it for you guys. I do it because I'm in this leadership position, which means I A, have to set the example, B, have to make sure, you guys are feeling it, right? As a team
Yep.
builds each other up. And that's a part of it. Dude, I didn't really know much about him, honestly, like before that one call. But dude, especially after he said that, I couldn't respect the man more for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't even really have to know much more about you to know that you are someone that I want to stay in contact with, someone that
Mm-hmm.
I want to like emulate certain parts of, and stuff like that. I don't know if you remember
Absolutely.
that call, John. That was like one of our first ones, I think.
Oh, there's been so many of them. They're kind of a blur, but I do
Yeah,
love
it's all
the high
good.
energy guys. I do love the high energy guys.
Yeah, yeah. Borrowing their energy for sure. Myth three. We'll knock these. I got about 8 of them. We don't have to get all of them, but we can move through the rest of these a little quicker if you want.
Yeah.
Leadership is defined by title. I think that's a pretty easy one.
Ooh,
You want to take that one?
yeah, that's an easy one. I mean, I'm sorry if it was all about titles. I mean, I can't even get into this one with you because I'm just like it just baffled me that people like relate. I mean, I think we can all think of people in our lives that we know that wear certain titles that are not leaders at all, that they are just book
Yeah.
smart or they knew the right people and they got to where they needed to be. And I also know people
Yes.
that have zero title that are some of the best leaders in my like that I know personally. Like I got a dear brother
Facts, man.
who's in Tennessee. He doesn't have a doctorate next to his name. He doesn't have this, but he is one of the most genuine, authentic, humble leaders I have ever met with the biggest hearts.
Yeah.
And it's like the way he
Yeah.
leads his family and the way he leads in his work. There's no bigger leader. He doesn't need to have all these, PhD dot whatever dot this dot that. It's like, no, I'm sorry. That stuff doesn't
Right.
mean anything. That means you paid a lot of money so that hopefully if you're depending on what work you're going into, maybe somebody will hire you.
Right.
It doesn't tell you
Yeah.
anything about you.
No. 100%. Couldn't agree more. I'm not even going to add on that. I knew you were going to knock that one out of the park. That's good. Myth number 4, leaders must have all the answers. This one we can almost skip over because, guys, we said it at the front of the
Yeah.
episode. No one's got all the answers. I don't have all the answers. John doesn't. We're not going to pretend like we have all the answers. We're just here to share. And anyone who does pretend to have all the answers,
They're lying.
honestly, I'd second guess their leadership material,
Exactly.
100%. Um,
Yeah.
leadership
Don't get me
is
going on
a
this one.
solo. Go ahead.
I said don't get me going on that one
On
because I
the
preached on that one today.
they must have all the answers.
Oh yeah, I literally preached the sermon on knowing who you are not and knowing who you are.
Oof.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
man,
So don't
that
get me
sounds
going
like it
on
was
that one.
good.
Go to the next one.
I need to get the link to that. I need to listen. Myth number 5: leadership is a solo endeavor. Kind of touched on this
Mm,
a little bit also, but John, go a little further into why that's a myth.
mm. Yeah,
Because
we were
leaders are
talking.
supposed to do it all, right? They're supposed to do it all
Yeah,
by themselves, and it's all about
exactly.
how much they can handle. Yeah,
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, we talked about again. You set the phrase earlier with leaders. True leadership is building up other leaders, right? It's helping other
Yeah.
people see the full potential they have in themselves. So that already takes the spotlight off of you and onto others. So if it was a solo act, who are you leading? If it's only about you, who are
Mm,
you leading? The idea of leadership is that you turn
yeah.
around and you see people following you. Well, if it's only about you, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you're going to turn around, no one's going to be there. A true
Right.
leader is somebody who
Yeah.
leads in a way that when they turn around or when they're not there, people are still moving forward.
100%. You said it earlier again. It's like we all at some point have probably had that person, boss, family member, whatever, that's in a leadership position of sorts. And you're just like, how the heck are you a leader? You're absolutely god awful. I don't see how you're even in the position you are. Where do you get, where do you get off? How are you here? Anyone would be better than
Mm-hmm.
you. My kid would be able to do this better than you. That's obviously
Caden would.
not
I bet he
leading.
would.
He would. He would. He'd be very, very blunt and tell you exactly what you needed to hear. 9-year-olds, man, redheads, and that's really what it is.
That's
It's
why.
that
That's why. Former
redheadedness.
redhead right
Oh,
here.
oh,
That going great,
that's
but
the.
I get it. Us redheads are fiery.
Oh, trust me, don't I know it? I'm finding more out every single day. Oh man. Smith number 6. You need permission to lead. Someone has to tell me that I'm a leader. Someone has to tell me and give me a shot. I can't lead if I'm not given that opportunity to lead. What a load of crap. I'm just gonna
You go with
come
that
right
one. You
out and
go with
say
that
it.
one. You go with that one.
I,
Good. You said
I'm
what I
gonna
was
have
thinking, so roll with it.
I'm gonna have to make sure I don't step too high on my soapbox for this one, man. But if you are seriously waiting around for someone to give you an opportunity or acknowledge your talent or your God given gift, or you're waiting for permission from someone to use that God given talent, stop it. Just stop. God gave you this gift for a reason, and it does not matter what anyone else has to say after that. If God gave you this gift and he gave you this calling and he already called you to be a leader, then you just go out and do it. You don't have to have all the answers. We've already covered that. It's not a solo journey, so find people to go with you. You don't need to ask permission or wait for permission. You just go and do it. And being a leader is kind of like an OJT thing, is what I found out. Is a lot of it is
Mm-hmm.
learning as you go, because you
Mm-hmm.
don't know what you don't know, and you won't know until you take that step yourself, not because someone gave it to you or told you to. It's not until you take that step you're going to learn what you're made of. You're going to learn what God has for you over there. You're going to learn and grow in more and more into the leader he's called you to be. Don't wait for anyone's permission to lead or use your God given gift. I'll get off my soapbox on that one.
Nah, you did. I love that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah. All right. Two more real quick. Myth 7. I don't match the profile. You want to take that one?
What's a profile of a leader? What's that? What's that question even about? Like, leadership has a profile. I mean, I think that's what people get that misconception. Kind of we talked about in some of the other points is that there's this box that people have pictured in their mind of what a leader is, and that unless you fit
Yeah.
inside that box, you can't be a leader. And I'm sorry, leaders come in all shapes and sizes. They do.
Right.
Young, old, it
Yeah.
don't matter. I mean, leadership is leadership. I mean, it's really what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's not one specific mold. And if you think it is, again, stop thinking that way. You're too
Yeah.
tunnel visioned, and you're waiting for the people to tell you to be a leader or to go do this
Right.
training so that you can be a better. It's like no, God's giving you
Yeah.
gifts, use them. Just step up and start
Yeah.
doing. Step up and start doing. Stop
Just,
waiting. Get off the
just do
sidelines.
it.
Would you rather watch the game or play the game? I'd rather play the game. That means I'm going to get off the
Facts.
sidelines.
Yeah. You can't play the game if you don't practice either. How do you practice? You practice like you're playing the game. You get in
That's
there
right.
and you freaking just do it like it's the game. And then you learn so that way you're ready. Oh man. Last one. Last one. My resume or my actions speak for themselves. That should qualify me as a leader. The numbers that I hit, and the things that I've accomplished and all that good stuff should qualify me as a leader.
Okay.
I had a chief, newly promoted chief. I'm assigned to a big station. There's 14 of us at my station on one shift. We have 3 shifts, and we have an assistant chief. Um, and this isn't just particularly for this one chief. It's just the latest one that I remember that has been this way. There have been others, but newly promoted to the position. He comes into the station. We're trying to feel, us and the crew and I, we're all trying to feel him out, kind of see what he likes, what he doesn't like. Every chief's got their own quirks, the way they want things done, the way they want scenes handled and stuff like that. And, you know, he was, I appreciate his honesty, but he was very blunt. And he was like, you know what? I'm just here to get my numbers to look good so I can get the next promotion. I was like,
Cool.
check, got it. Now we kind of know how to go from here. Like, we're gonna do our job so that way you look good, and then you can get promoted. That's fine. You don't have to worry about us. We do our job. We're known for doing our job and doing it well. But that doesn't mean he was good at it. No offense. I have nothing against the guy personally. He was fine. It was just
Mhm.
like when it came down to him actually having to do things, that's when it kind of came out. And you're like, numbers, got it, because
Numbers.
there's not really much else there. Yeah.
Well, good story. I like that. I like that because that really touches upon like, your resume may show that it's just surface level is really what it is. It
Yeah.
shows some accolades, but it doesn't show what you did to get there. It's like
Right.
cool. It's like I can be wowed by this or that or the fact you did. It's like, but tell me the process on how you got there. Because like you said, it could be a situation where you didn't really do much and you just happened to get the credentials or the rewards for it or the things on your resume. But
Yeah.
you know you could have done some work. You could have been a great leader, and that's why you hit certain numbers. You could be leading a great team, and you
Yeah.
could be doing the things, but just to limit it to what you see on paper,
Yeah.
that's really hard. That's really difficult, and I think that's something that a lot of people sometimes do, especially in the world of social media, especially
Mm.
when they're looking at public figures, because anybody can be a public figure nowadays, and that's a topic I'm not even going to get on
Right.
today
Yeah.
because it's going to be a while. But
I'm sure we
but
have it
seriously,
somewhere in here. Yeah.
I know. But seriously, it's like if we were to base people's credentials and their ability to do things just on what we read as on their 180 characters of their Instagram profile,
Right.
that's kind of shallow. I mean, it really is. That's taking the easy way out, not really doing our homework to figure out who these people really are. Are they really going to
Yeah.
help us in what we're looking to do? Are they really doing the things? It's like, don't limit it, right? Do your homework.
Dude, yeah. You can write anything on social media. It's not like
Anything.
they're fact checking you to be like, oh, wait, you didn't really get a PhD
No.
in psychology. You could literally write that on there, and then it's
Yeah.
it's
I
whatever.
can.
Yeah, social media, I'm sure, will come up several more times over the year
Oh yeah. I
for the
mean, I'm going to go
topics.
on after this, and I'm going to write the Bro Code podcast as the number one leadership podcast in the world, and just see what happens.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I love it. I love it. Hey, man, it might drive more people to it. Honestly, they're going to see that. They're going to be like, oh, cool. And they're going to click on stuff,
Exactly.
and then they're going to find out we're not yet. We will be
Not
there.
yet.
We will be there.
With the guests we have lined up,
Ah,
it's going to be fire. With the guests we have lined up, I mean, I'm
yeah.
excited about who we're going to be bringing onto the show. It's going to be leaders and people of all different types of
Yeah.
fields, talking about their journeys, talking about their stories, and I think this is a cool way to kind of like
Yeah.
wrap it up. It's like, this is not going to be a podcast where it's just Ian and I bouncing things off with Michael, even though it could be, and it'd be great. Don't get me wrong, I love these guys, but we're really
Right.
interested in hearing stories of other leaders and their impact on those around them, and that's really what's going to resonate with hopefully everybody who listens to this is that you're going
Yeah.
to see these kind of stories, and it's going to move you to want to be better leaders in whatever areas of life God's put you in, whether that is as a father, whether that is as a
100%.
husband, whether that's you're a CEO of this big business or this startup business or whatever it is, or, maybe you're leading in your church, maybe you just,
Mm.
want to figure out how to lead better in your church, even if you're not the pastor, because everybody's got a leadership role in their church. I'll be the first one to tell you,
Yeah.
I do not have the gift so much of hospitality, But there are people in my church who do, and they host dinners every Sunday night, and they have for the past 2+ years for a whole church. It's pretty phenomenal, and they put on
Jeez.
amazing spreads. But they're leading with the
I need
gifts that
to
God has given them. They may not be the
I need to
pastor.
come up to Vermont.
Oh, you do, man. You
Yeah.
should have seen Thanksgiving spread. It was There's like
Ooh.
50 of us, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Good Lord. Good. God bless
Hey,
those people.
hey, you said you missed the snow, so come on up.
I do. I do. Spent 2 years in Colorado. That's all I needed to be like, yeah, I'd rather be up here.
Hey, your boy still hasn't seen a snowstorm, so he's got to get up here.
Ah, that's true. We do. We got to schedule something soon because he's freaking chomping at the bit. And then seeing you and the boys and your kids going sledding, and
Hmm.
then Allie and Andrew and their family having the snowball fight over in Tennessee. He's always like, when are we gonna go see snow? I'm like, yeah, yeah,
Got to come up.
it's gotta happen.
Got to come
Gotta
up.
happen, dude. All right, so we're at 40 minutes, man. I think that's a good first episode to lay it there. We don't even have to get into questions per se if you don't want to.
No, I think the questions will,
I think
I
that's
think
good.
they'll work their way out. I think the questions will
Yeah,
happen in future episodes for sure. But this is gonna be fun. This
yeah.
is gonna be great. I can't wait to see kind of where it goes from here.
I can't either. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the first episode of the Broco podcast. We are going to be on Spotify under Broco podcast. Same thing for the YouTube. Type in Broco, the Broco podcast on YouTube will be there as well. We appreciate any and all feedback, guys. Be gracious to us. This is our first one. We're just getting started. We're going to get better as we go, part of the learning and growing experience. But we are so happy to be here with you guys, and we cannot wait to be here next week. We're looking to release these every Friday, so be looking for that. Every Friday, there'll be a new episode. We're going to have these guests. We're going to have roundtables, good discussions. Your feedback is always appreciated. Questions. We're always accepting questions for the next week. So go ahead and get your questions in if you have anything from what you've heard us talk about tonight, or I guess when this releases today, or if something completely that we haven't touched on, feel free to ask it, and
Hmm.
we'll try to get to it, or we will definitely get to it. I want to make sure all the
100%.
questions are got to. So yeah. So all right, that'll do it for the first episode of the Broco
Bro code.
podcast.